Hi, folks. This is Mark Knutson. Welcome to another, like I like to call, musical edition of Disability Landscape. And we're going to start off with a song by Tindell and the Boys called On the Other Hand.
On one hand, I count the reasons I could stay with you and hold you close to me all night long. So many lovers gaze, I'd love to play with you. On that hand, there's no reason why it's wrong. But on the other hand, there's a golden band to remind me of someone who would not understand. On one hand, I could stay and be your loving man, but the reason I must go is on the other hand. In your arms I feel the passion I thought it had when I looked into your eyes. I found myself, and when I first kissed your lips, I felt so alive. I've got a hand it to you, girl, you're something else. But on the other hand, there's a golden band to remind me of someone who would not understand. On one hand, I could stay and be your loving man, but the reason I must go is on the other hand. Yeah, the reason I must go is on the other hand.
That was a great song. Before we get to Mike Tindell and the Boys, I want to introduce my co-host, Kyle Anderson, correct?
Correct.
All right,
Thanks for having me.
I got it correct this time. Kyle, you were on our show a good year and a half ago, and during that time was shut down and all that. Have you been doing much musical or whatever?
I haven't been doing too much of my own music, but I've been helping out with my church and helping out with doing sound in other areas as well. So
you've been keeping active.
Yeah,
and all that.
keeping active.
Okay. Well, let's get to our musical guest. I will introduce first Mike Tindell. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back.
Yeah, and I will let you introduce your bandmates here or your cohorts.
All right. Well, today with us on the cajon, we have Brody Kachera.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And on the guitar and on the fiddle, we have Jake Johnson.
How's it going, Mike?
It's going well, Jake. I'm glad that you guys were able to join us today. So you may have seen before me on the show a couple times. I played one time here with a gentleman that we all play with every Monday night. We have a band called the Matt Arthur Contraption. And so Jake, myself, Brody, and our bass player Bob, and then another blind gentleman who's been on the show here before named Matt Arthur. Brody, tell us a little bit about, well, let me start off by first saying that Matt and I met about 3 years ago, and I met him at a club in town, and he and I started playing together. And then, Brody, tell us a little bit about how you and Matt, how you came to be joining us.
So yeah, I've known Matt. Actually, I've known Matt since I was a kid, since I was 12 years old. We
really?
are both
Okay.
amateur radio operators or ham radio operators.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Okay.
I've heard him and his call on the airwaves. So I've kind of known who he was. He's known who I am, and he's known who my dad is. And he's known I've drummed my whole life. So as I've just gotten older, he's been looking for another drummer, and he asked me one day once I was old enough to go to a bar to come out and play drums with him. So that's what I did. I brought the cajon for the first time. I brought it to the 331 club where we play, and met Mike. And
so what was so funny about
with
that?
Matt.
What that was so funny about that is that Brody came to play. He was the first member that joined Matt and I, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But Brody comes up and he says, I'm going to play drums. I said, you're going to play drums? He said, yes, I have a cajon. And I said, what in the world is a cajon? I had no idea. And then
That was exactly my words when you said that today, that you were bringing a
yes,
guy.
I thought, well, what is a cajon? So, Brody, tell us a little bit about how you and Jake met.
yeah, so Jake and we oftentimes get that we look like we're brothers, but we're actually unrelated. We just met by chance in college. We were randomly assigned as roommates in our freshman year. So what are the odds of that? I don't know. Pretty darn low, but we've been chumming around together ever since.
So it's interesting because the boys play with, we call ourselves Mike Tindell and the boys. We play some shows from time to time, and then we all play with Matt Arthur, I just mentioned, and then Jake Johnson is going to talk to us here. He also has his own band, and Jake, tell us a little bit about your band.
Yeah, so the bass player from Matt Arthur Contraption and Brody and I started this band called Woodson, and it's a little different genre than Mike Tindall and the boys. It's more like funk, rock, kind of Grateful Dead type music. So it's a little different, but yeah, we're playing shows, releasing an album with the Matt Arthur Contraption and with Woodson soon.
And our single just came out.
Yeah, and we just had a single release. It's called Day Is Long, and it's kind of like a indie pop jam song. So yeah, you should look that one up by Woodson. Day Is Long by Woodson.
And I just want to say that it playing with the boys here, I have really enjoyed having the chance to kind of do some stuff on our own as well as with Matt. It was kind of interesting because the way that we all got together just kind of happened. Mark, it was interesting.
Okay.
It kind of came to be.
So, Jake or Brody, either one of you, I would assume before playing with Matt and Mike, you had not played with anyone with any type of a physical disability, correct?
No, not really. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a different perspective on music, and music is something you hear. It's not something you see. So it really changed my perspective on playing with someone and connecting on a different level rather than just, hey, let's read some music. It's no, you're connecting through the song the whole time. You're just listening.
Yeah, I'd like to say a little bit about that. Playing with Matt and Mike, I've really learned a lot just about being a musician and what it means to listen, on just another level. Because there's no visual cues. There's no looking at each other to tell when the song is going to end or when it's going to start or when you're going to go to the verse or chorus or nothing. You just got to hear it. And
That's
you gotta
absolutely
know,
right.
and you got to feel where it's going to be, and it's really forced me to become a better musician. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to play with these guys.
Now, for you, Kyle, when you start, how old, I guess, how did you get started when you got into your music and that?
I started writing music in high school, and it was just a way that I could express myself. And yeah, it was early on, but I guess when did you start writing music, Mike, or when did you start?
I started writing music. Probably the first song that I ever wrote. I'll say quickly, we're going to end the show today with a gospel song, and the reason why we're doing that is because it's kind of where I got my roots. I grew up in Florida. My grandfather was a Pentecostal pastor, and so I sang gospel music for the first 20 years of my life, maybe 25 years of my life. And then I moved to Baltimore. And in Baltimore, there was not much Southern gospel music. And so I kind of branched out, much to my grandfather's dismay, who raised me, and started doing country music. And from time to time, I still get the chance to do gospel music in churches with some other folks, and in Tennessee and Florida when I get back to the South. And I really enjoy, kind of where my Southern gospel roots started. But that's what I started on, was writing Southern gospel music. And I had an uncle who was passing away, and the first song I ever wrote was called God is Greater, and it just talks about how that, God can help us through our lives, whatever it is, even when we're getting near the end of it. That's kind of what that song was about. And then I continued writing gospel songs. I've not written many country songs, but hopefully when we release it, hopefully, Mark, we can come back on the show with the Matt Arthur Contraption. But we are actually working on right now releasing an album. I'm not going to say much about it, but I can say that most, if not all, the songs that we're going to put on that album has been written by Matt.
Okay.
And it's going to be it's really going to be a good album when we get it released, and we're looking forward to doing that.
Well, why don't we at this moment bring up the second song, and Mike, I'll let you introduce and tell us a little bit about the song.
So, it was interesting today, and I don't even know why I was thinking about it, but I was just thinking about people in my life who have passed, and I don't know what made me really think about it today, but I did. And I've never even sang the song before today, but I learned it before we came over, practiced it with the boys, and we're going to do a song by Garth Brooks for you called If Tomorrow Never Comes.
Great, let's hear the song.
Sometimes late at nights I lie awake and watch her sleeping. She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the lights, lay there in the dark. And the thought crosses my mind, I'll never wake up in the morning. Would she ever doubt the way I feel about her in my heart? And if tomorrow never comes, would you know how much I love her? That I try in every way to show her every day she's my only one. And if my time on earth is through, she must face this world without me. This love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes. I've lost loved ones in my life, never knew how much they mean to me. I live with the regret that my true feeling for them never were revealed. I made a promise to myself each day how much I love them, to avoid that circumstance where there's no second chance, to tell them how I feel. And if tomorrow never comes, wish you know how much I love her. Did I try in every way to show her every day she's my only one? And if my time on earth through, she must face this world without me. It's the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes. Tell that someone that you love what you're thinking of if tomorrow never comes.
Great. That was great. You guys just learned it today then?
We literally just learned it today, yes. And I'll say that all the harmony that you heard on that first song, I was doing both the lead and the harmony. And then on the last song that you're going to hear us do today is also me doing lead and harmony. It's a thing that I really enjoy. I'll sing lead, of course, but it's not a thing that I like as much as I do kind of being in the background playing keyboard and singing harmony. It's kind of how I grew up and where I grew up. And with Matt Arthur, I do that all the time, where pretty much, I'll do some lead stuff occasionally in a show, but normally I do harmony, and I enjoy it.
So did you start playing keyboard or singing first?
I started singing when I was 4. I got on a stage in a small little town in Wauchula, Florida, and sang a gospel song called "The Only Real Peace That I Have, Dear Lord, Is in You." I did that song, and then I guess when I was about 5, my grandfather knew the keys of C, F, and G, how to catch those chords on the piano. So he showed me that, and then I was going to take lessons, and the piano instructor said, "Nope, you already know more than I can teach you. Just go play by ear and do it." And so I did, and I kind of have a few regrets that I never learned much as far as piano about Braille music. I know enough Braille music to be dangerous. I did play trumpet in the high school band, and then when I guess 8-9 years ago, I remember it was a Labor Day, and I don't even know what possessed me to do it, but I said, I'm going to go to the music store and talk to them about playing saxophone. And the guy at the music store said, "Well, if you want to buy a reed, I'll show you how to play a C scale." I said, "Okay, that'll get me started." So I did. And then I kind of taught myself sax as well. But so I play piano, trumpet, and sax, which is a little bit weird because you got a brass instrument and a woodwind instrument. But piano is certainly my main instrument, and of course singing. But yeah, I started singing when I was, as I said, about 4, and then I started playing piano when I was 5, and by the time I was 8, I was playing piano for the church. And then when I was about 10, we started a gospel band, and we went on the road, traveled every single week of the year, and I did that. My grandfather had to retire from a heart condition, so I started singing with another gentleman, and we sang actually until he passed away. And then I moved to Baltimore about a year before he passed away, but that's kind of where all my gospel roots were for most of my childhood coming into my adult life. But, here in Minnesota, I really do enjoy having the chance to play country and blues and, sing some lead vocals by myself and, with the boys and do harmony. It's just all part of my life.
Okay. And with you and Brody and Jack, do you play other instruments also then? Do you have a variety of instruments you play?
Yeah, I play violin and guitar. Sometimes I bring a mandolin or a banjo to the 331 and just hang out with that. I play some bass guitar too. And yeah, we have a good crew, and we're just having fun on Monday nights.
And you guys sing also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I mainly play drums. I play the cajon here, and then I also play drum set when I've got a little more time
Okay, a
and
drum
space in the
set,
car.
yeah.
I usually on Monday nights and most shows I'm playing a drum set, but this is a lot more convenient than a drum set to bring the cajon for sure. So, but yeah, and I do a little bit of singing here and there too. But
Yeah. Now, what, Kyle, I'm trying to remember if you do you play any, I know you sing.
Yeah, I mostly rap/sing a little
Rap,
bit.
yeah.
I went to school for audio engineering, so most of what I have to play, I can just play on a keyboard. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm real great at any in particular instrument. I just kind of know the basics to get my way through it.
Any musical questions
Yeah, I guess what got you guys into music as well?
yeah, I started playing drums. I got my first drum set when I was 6 years old. Just started playing for fun. My dad's friend played drum set, and he said he'd give me lessons for $1 a lesson. And I think it was just an excuse for my dad and his buddy to hang out. But anyway, I got drum lessons out of the deal, and we recorded them on VHS tapes, and I could watch them back and learn from my mistakes, and went from there. I played drums all through marching snare drum all through middle school and high school, and played drum set all throughout college. So, and here we are.
Okay.
Jake, you want to talk a little bit about how you got into it?
Yeah, so I was 3 years old. This is the story that my parents told me. I don't remember it, so it might not be true, but I was 3 years old, and I was driving in a car, and my parents had friends actually in Russia, and they traveled across the United States for a while playing piano and violin duets and singing, and they were listening to their CD in the car, and I was 3 years old, and I heard this Russian violinist, and I thought, wow, I want to be able to do that someday. So they put me in lessons, and I've just been playing ever since and loving it. So, yeah.
Now you also teach violin, don't you?
I do, yeah. I have about 25 students right now beginning violin, and it's been great, very rewarding.
Well, we have come to the point where we have to finish the interview off in that, and I want to thank you guys, Mike Tindell and the boys, for coming. Kyle Anderson, it was nice catching up with you again.
Thanks for having me.
And Mike, why don't you introduce the last song? We'll finish with that.
It's always a pleasure, Mark, to be here. This last song says He Knows How. It's just kind of a fast, fun song. He Knows How to Take Good Care of Me is the name of the song. So we hope that you enjoy it, and thanks for watching the show.
Thank you.
Walking by faith and not by sight, sometimes it's hard to do. Just how long must I carry this burden before the Spirit of the Lord comes through? Then my mind starts to wonder just where I would be. For many years I've been serving the Lord, He's been taking good care of me. Oh, and He knows how to take good care of me. No matter where the road may lead, walking with Jesus is where I'll be. Before I know the problem, God already knows the need. He knows how to take good care of me. He's been food upon my table. He's been a shelter over me. Day to day, God provided everything that I need. I don't have to worry when I close my eyes to sleep. Oh, you know God never gets too busy to keep watching over me. Oh, and He knows how to take good care of me. No matter where the road may lead, walking with Jesus is where I'll be. for I know